Hey guys, Quantum Light here. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for checking out my Photon Galaxy deck profile. I'm talking about the Prime version 2.0. Just like my last build, it's becoming one of the most viewed videos on my channel, and one of the most liked as well. I appreciate the praise you guys give me for it, as well as me trying to repay you back with my OCG build, which should be coming sometime soon, but normally I would do this, before the ban list, but because the ban list is going to be coming sometime soon, I want to do it a little bit afterwards. If you guys remember in that deck profile, I said that I will be talking about Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, as well as number 62 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon. For those of you wondering why I'm bringing this up right now, it's because I'm no longer running Neo Galaxy Eyes in the TCG or OCG build. And this video discussion is my explanation to you guys as to why I'm not running it. Now, first and foremost, before I even begin this discussion, Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon is obviously not a bad card by all means. I wouldn't even go so far as to call it slow. No, he's just one of those cards where you either run it or you don't. Like, you could make do, you could... Actually, yeah, you'd be better off with or without it. It's all personal preference here. Now, of course, this is also opinion based. It's just my opinion. Now, again, that is my only copy that I have left, that I am keeping, because it is still special to me. It's also one of those cards where whether you run it or you don't, it's one of those that you want to hold on to should case be where you think you might need it again. Not to mention the fact that the original dragon himself, Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, is the one that combines the two archetypes of Photon and Galaxy together. That being said, let's get started. So as you guys have seen in my first deck profile that I showed you guys saw that I was running him at 1. And in the second version, I was not running him at all. Like, he was basically replaced with number 62. Let's take a look at his effect. At 4500 attack, he requires 3 level 8 monsters. Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon is optional, but he's mostly recommended. And when he's summoned using him as an overlay unit, you get to negate the effects of all face-up cards on the field, meaning that it's basically a skill drain for everyone. And in the Photon archetype, that is really good. Potentially, he could remove the negative effects of Photon Thrasher and Photon Crusher. Thrasher can actually attack with the rest of his crew, and Crusher doesn't have to cower in defense. Now, mostly, you're going to be using that effect when you summon him. But what makes him reign supreme as Dragon is his second effect. I think it goes without saying that you're only going to be using this effect just once in the game. Just attach an overlay unit, detach one overlay unit, or all overlay units of every Exceed monster on the field, except for him, of course. He gains 500 for each, and that's how many times he gets to attack during that battle phase. Sounds good on paper, and looks badass in the anime. But like most powerful dragons, namely photons in general, it has a downside to it. Yeah, he can easily die, Let's say you bring out this guy, and your opponent activates Solemn Warning. Like, his effect negation probably won't go through, but he's gone for good. Bottomless, Torrential, Mirror Force, Blackhorn, Deep Prison, all of these things can kill him. That's why he's best used when you're about to win the game. Basically, he's the final blow. The good thing here is that his effect negation, while good, his second effect might not always be used, but when it is, it really is worth it. It pays off so much. Also, at 4500 attack, that's no joke. He's able to run over basically any monster in the game. And it's not just Photon Galaxy that uses him. No. Also, Heretic Dragons can benefit off of this because they require level 8s as well, and they bring out level 8s like nothing. Once again, he's a really good card. He's not slow, but there are reasons why he's sometimes, excluded from the extra deck. Now, while his stats and his effect is really good, both of them, to be in fact, his summoning condition is really, really hard. Going back when he was first released, no Photon Galaxy player was able to summon him. The only way he was able to be brought out with this deck was through so many situational cards. 3 level 8 monsters is really hard to bring out if you really think about it. At least, well, not right now, it's pretty easy, but back then when this guy was first brought out in Galactic Overlord, it was really hard to bring out. I mean, Guardian of Order didn't really have much use in the game until Photon Galaxy became relevant. Upon the release of the Zexaltins, and once we got, what was it called? A Message in a Bottle. We also, earlier on, we received Galaxy Queen's Light. Once we received a Message in a Bottle, it was situational at best, but it was the only way to bring this guy out. Galaxy Knight, Galaxy Expedition, they helped in bringing this guy out as well, but even so, that's just 2 level 8 monsters you had. In order to bring him out, you need to have Guardian of Order as well. With Galaxy Knight and Galaxy Expedition, like they were a lot easier in order to make Neo Galaxy Eyes. Yeah, it made it more possible, but it didn't always work. At best, it only brought you out 2 level 8 monsters. Again, you needed a Guardian of Order. Like I said earlier, when his effect goes off, it pays off. It's worth it. Even though it's 3 level 8 monsters, as hard as it may be, as hard as it was back then, like now it's not as hard, but even so, as hard as it was back then, sometimes it would backfire on you. If you were going to bring out Neo Galaxy Eyes, you would make sure it stays safe. You would make sure that once he's out, the game is over. But that was not always the case. Keep in mind, during the format when this guy was, brought out, we had double bottomless, double torrential, double compulse. Black Horn of Heaven wasn't even relevant at the point. The fact that we had 2 warnings wasn't helping it out either. So it's because of these faults that it was no wonder that Neo Galaxy Eyes was usually ran at 1. Now, I'd be a hypocrite if I said that I really didn't like how, or I didn't want to bother bringing out 3 level 8 monsters to bring out Neo Galaxy Eyes, especially when number 16 Shockmaster was a thing back then, and we had to bring out 3 level 4 monsters. I mean, right now, I think only Bujin players can actually do that. I think Evil Swarm players can do it too, but there's also a bunch of other rank 4 exceeds that require 3 level 4 monsters, but there's also other different exceeds out there that require 3 materials, and this guy is one of them. And just like those monsters, you need to have a dedicated build that protects this guy and lets him go off. Like I said, once he gets bottomless, once he gets warninged, torrential, if he's removed from the field upon his summoning, that's it. All your hard work paid off for a few seconds of life. So in my opinion, Neo Galaxy has Photon Dragon. His role in the Galaxy deck is just a game ender. He's the one that just finishes the game itself. So I really don't recommend you bring him out too early into the game or mid game. Just make sure when you bring him out, if you decide to still use him, make sure it's to end the game. Make sure you have a clear field and he's the only one standing. Now, as good as Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon is, number 62 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon makes up for the flaws that Neo Galaxy Eyes has. At 4,000 attack, he's a generic rank 8. And once again, just like Neo Galaxy Eyes, it's optional to have Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon attached to him as an overlay unit, but sometimes you don't really need him, but it's recommended that you do. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of level 8 oriented decks out there, such as Sylvans, Gimmick Puppets, Heretic Dragons. They could benefit off of this card, but it's Photon Galaxy where it shines the most. Granted, he's 500 attack points lower than Neo Galaxy Eyes, and he doesn't have that effect negation just like him, but again, he makes up for what Neo Galaxy Eyes can't do. Now, Neo Galaxy Eyes, when he detaches an overlay unit, he gains 500 and, he gets to attack that many times. Like, Prime Photon can't attack that many times, just once. But he does benefit off of the anti-exceeds effect. He gains attack 200 for each rank on the field, to be exact. Not even that, including his own. Like, if you're going to go for a direct attack, that's like over 5,000 right there. I mean, Neo Galaxy Eyes couldn't even target himself, but even so. And to be honest, Galaxies bring out level 8s quick, true, but it's usually in the 2s. Aside from his own attack increasing effect, it comes with another effect as well. Like, once he's destroyed by your opponent, he's revived with double the attack points. The reason I'm running him in the TCG build is because that build needs to be sped up, and Neo Galaxy Eyes might be slowing it down just a little bit, But 62 makes up for that because it doesn't really plus, but its rival effect is really good to have, which is something that Neo Galaxy Eyes does not have. For example, through Bottomless, through Warning, Torrential, Blackhorn, that doesn't stop this guy from coming back. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to wait 2 turns in order for him to come back, but even so, with the deck that you have, you're gonna be okay. The reason I say that is, if you really think about it, you're running 3 level 8 monsters, you're using up so many resources, you're going through so many moves to bring out Neo Galaxy Eyes, and once that thing dies, like, you are defenseless. With 62, all you need is Wizard, Expedition, and you bring out the Dragon, and there you go. Yeah, this kind of gives your opponent the motivation to kill you a lot quicker before, turn 2 is up, and you got an 8,000 monster right there in front of him, but even so, with the monster lineup that Galaxies have going for them right now, it shouldn't be that much of a problem because, once again, you're not using that many resources. You still have everything you need to defend yourself until he's revived. See, this is the reason why I'm running 62 over Neo Galaxy Eyes, because he can plus off of him. Well, if you really want to call it a plus, although, again, it takes 2 turns. What I mean by that is that you gain something out of it. Instead of just effect negation, which is, it's always good, not gonna lie, but what happens when, this is the thing that photon galaxies does not have. They can't, you know, they don't give you benefits. They don't give you something in return for your troubles. Shadows, mermaids especially, even when they die, they give you something. Like, here's a consolation prize over here. Like, this is for your trouble. Like, any Photon Galaxy monster die, it's like they die. You need something to recycle them back into the deck, or much less your hand. 62's attack increasing effect is always good. At 4,000, it's still good, not gonna lie. But his revival effect is what makes up for Neo Galaxy as his faults. And it's because of 62, you're not afraid of attacking. The only thing you need to be afraid of with this card is D-Prison, because once he's removed, he's removed. But even so, Bottomless does destroy and remove him, but he's destroyed first, so he still comes back. But like I said, what he has over Neo Galaxy Eyes is that you're not using that many resources. You're not using 3 level 8 monsters. You're not using up the majority of your hand and what you have on your field to bring, one big 4K monster out. And even if you do, like, you'll still get something out of it. Maybe not right away, but you'll still get something. Hell, at 8,000 attack, it's more than you bargained for. So overall, it's just personal preference. If you're gonna run Neo Galaxy Eyes, then by all means go right ahead. But however, I do recommend him just at 1. He's only best at 1 because, again, this is one card that you could make do with or without. As for Prime Photon Dragon, like, that's easy. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope I informed you at best. And honestly, I informed myself too. Like, looking back on everything that I just said, I think I might consider running Neo Galaxy Eyes back in my Photon Galaxy deck. Maybe not the TCG build, but the OCG build. I'm starting to see that I'm starting to need him a whole lot more, mainly because there are some cards in the extra that I'm not going to be using, at least I don't see myself using, and that I haven't been using at all either. So yeah, it all comes down to personal preference. Prime Photon Dragon is obviously a staple in this deck, but Neo Galaxy Eyes, that's up to you guys if you want to run him. It's a powerful card, nice attack, great effect, badass artwork. I highly recommend you at least try him out at least 1. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Lights out.